Alright, so the NFL just made the Eagles even scarier, and they don't even realize it. But as great as that is, I'll share with you an even better part to Philly's offseason so far. Plus, an update on who's gaining traction at some key positions. Saquon Barkley just beat out Patrick Mahomes again, and the Chiefs are in shambles. And the reason Zack Baun believes he's barely scratched the surface yet. Heck, that goes for the entire defense, so let's talk about that and everything else around the birds. But first, let's run it. What's up, guys? It's been a while and finally back after some much-needed family vacation, but the channel passed 130,000 subscribers while I was gone, so first off, thank you. You guys are just insane. This channel's just blown my mind. But also, secondly, make sure to drop a like on this video and then go leave any sort of comment that you want on this one because I'm going to give away this signed Nolan Smith jersey to one lucky subscriber. Seriously, this community on the channel is unbelievably special, so gonna have that along with an extra item as a small token of appreciation for subscribers of the channel. Because just like you guys, it's not hard to see why the Eagles culture is special, despite whatever the rest of the NFL landscape wants to say.
Just have to get lucky, I guess.
That has got to be one of the laziest takes that I've heard thrown around on multiple media outlets. I mean, sure, Philly is really talented, but it has nothing or at least very little to do with luck. Look, in reality, you got an owner in Jeffrey Lurie who's willing to pay cash up front and fully trust Howie Roseman to work his magic of building a roster. Which, speaking of that cash up front, in case you missed it last week, the Eagles owner and his family donated $50 million for a new autism institute at Children's Hospital of Philadelphia and Penn Medicine. And not only is that the largest gift ever for academic medical centers focused on autism, but it'll create a dedicated center to accelerate research into autism to study its causes and treatment options. Where Lurie said that he hopes to see the Lurie Autism Institute turn into a global hub and that this is really just the beginning. Like, come on, I know that we all love our Eagles, but this is bigger than football. So for those that have supported, volunteered, been a part of any Eagles autism event, this is the best news coming out of last week. Anyway, getting back to the magic of the front office, though, it's not the Birds' fault that the Giants simply decided Saquon Barkley's value wasn't worth an extra couple million and decided to let him walk. Like, the haters can call it luck, but Howie clearly has a proven formula for evaluating players' impact both on and off the field. And even though history says the Madden cover athlete might not match the numbers from last season, he did leave quite a bit on the table. Once again, no, for the record, I do not buy into any of the Madden cover jinxes or curses or anything like that. In fact, last year, the 28-year-old was actually one of the most unlucky players in 2024.
How does that work?
You're right, hearing that and then realizing that this is a dude who ran for over 2,000 yards, won Offensive Player of the Year, also a Super Bowl, it does sound a little bit out of place. However, according to the analytics, even though Saquon set a career high with 13 rushing touchdowns, he was also tackled a league-high 11 times on the opponent's 1-yard line, meaning he very easily could have had 20-plus rushes for 6. Here's the scary part, though. Despite over 400 touches last season, the Philly RB says he's just now entering his prime.
The coaches in here, Nick, Jamal, I have a lot of great running backs I'm able to reach out to. I have a lot of trainers that I work with and mentors that I trust. And, kind of listen to your body, going out there and, not going too fast right away, letting your body heal. But the beauty of it is like, I don't know how many touches I had or how many yards, but it doesn't feel like it. I feel really good. I feel like I'm entering my prime. So just got to continue, have the mindset of listening to everyone, buying into what they want me to do, and whatever they do, try to do it to the best of my ability.
It does feel appropriate that Saquon took over the number one spot in terms of the league's most marketable player, especially if what he's saying is true. Granted, history is against him when it comes to running backs and keeping up that consistency after heavier workloads, yet at the same time, 26 is a different back behind this offensive line, saying his goal is still to be one of the best, if not the best, running backs in NFL history when all is said and done. For the record, he's also not retiring anytime soon, so please just get rid of that notion if you heard anything, speculations, clickbait about him retiring. It's not happening soon. Of course, not going to lie, but I have all the hope in the world that that dude can make it happen in terms of being the best running back in NFL history. Yet Saquon passing Patrick Mahomes' top spot in merchandise sales and handing the Chiefs another L gave me probably a bit more enjoyment than it should have.
What? What an idiot! Oh, what a loser! Good.
I would like to think that I helped play a part, at least a small one, in terms of him raising up to number one, because after all, we've given away signed jerseys, we've given away helmets. Heck, this signed helmet here I'm going to give away soon to a subscriber. It is free, so if you haven't subbed, make sure to hit the button. But in an upcoming video, I will spin for that one as well. Stay tuned. It was for the 130,000 subscribers, so, we'll probably do it here on this one. Comment on the video, sub. Best of luck to you. Now look, while you're dropping a like and hitting that sub button, not everyone is high on the Birds, with Pro Football Focus projecting Philly to finish under their 11.5 win total line this upcoming season, citing the fact that the Eagles' schedule moved from 10th easiest last year to 4th hardest this year, and posing the question on if the Birds can stay healthy enough to win enough games through that gauntlet of a schedule. Which on one hand, I can somewhat understand that argument, yet PFF's projection is certainly wrong, and I'll tell you why. First off, just because we call it a gauntlet of a schedule, who really knows if it turns out that way? Plus, even in a year where the Birds collapsed to the finish 2 years ago, they still surprised a lot of people by beating Miami, Dallas, Kansas City, and Buffalo in successive weeks. Again, not overlooking the remainder of that story, where it did, yes, all completely fall apart. Although fighting through adversity and proving people wrong has left this team with a completely different mentality.
Last time being here, this changed my life. It changed my life and it changed my mentality and it changed everything. I left that milk so empty. For so long, I was seeking. What would I do when I got this moment again? On the big stage, everybody watching. It doesn't matter but when. Just take it one play at a time. Let it come to you. And ask yourself how you want to be remembered.
For everybody, or let me clarify, for most Eagles fans, I think we realize how valuable Jalen Hurts is, but I don't know what it is. There's something about the NFL offseason that always drums up this Jalen Hurts criticism even more than we experienced during the regular season. Like fraudster Chris Sims and his incredibly hypocritical ranking of Jalen Hurts at 10th on his QB list. FYI, in case you weren't paying attention, I don't blame you if you weren't, but Sims had Hurts at 9 during the season last year and then said this before the Super Bowl.
I do think Lamar, Mahomes, Josh Allen, and Burrow are in a little bit of different class than everybody in football. Now, can Hurts close that gap with another real good Super Bowl performance and playing well? Certainly.
Blitz coming. It's picked up. Hurts going deep, has a man. It is caught.
In the pros.
Hurts lets it go. Complete A.J. Brown. He's in. Or maybe throw the dagger. Hurts going deep for it all. Devontae Smith. He has got it.
Hey, Super Bowl MVP.
Super Bowl champ. And all his skill set and the leadership and the mental strength and all that. Is he perfect? No. There's a reason he's at number 10. And there's still flaws in his football game that need to be addressed, need to be fixed. And, they win the game still with him not playing perfect. And this is where, again, I do the dirty work to go, let me decipher here, right? But there's no quarterback in football that has more advantages on the field at the position than Jalen Hurts.
If it takes all the hate and all the scrutiny and all the different opinions for me to be a world champion, then keep it coming.
Like I said last time, we keep the receipts on this channel, and as we learned during the Super Bowl, so does QB1. Yet I gotta call it like I see it, the double standard has reached a whole new level for the haters. Because all they want to talk about is how Hurts has this super team and is practically carried by everyone else, except they keep moving the goalposts. For example, take Chiefs writer Adam Not So Best, who recently stated that it would be disrespectful to even mention Jalen in the same breath as Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson, saying Patrick Mahomes and Allen would go undefeated with Philly's roster. I know that's crazy, but heck, you even had some outlets speculating that Caleb Williams' stats were better with the Bears last season, so, extrapolate that out, perhaps the QB would have even done better than Hurts.
Get out of here.
For the record, yes, I'm totally onto this. They got to do something for clicks and talk about anything during the offseason, so, we can kind of chill out a little bit. But I still should point out that going back to Adam's not-so-best takes, the Chiefs writer admitted that he was sick of hearing about the Eagles having the better team by far before the Super Bowl. Since according to him, in addition to Mahomes, Andy Reid, and Steve Spagnuolo, Chris Jones was the best or is the best second player in the game, Trent McDuffie's the best defensive back, Creed Humphrey the best interior lineman, and the Chiefs have one of the best fleet of skill players. And yet not even 4 or 5 months goes by and this dude's using the exact same argument that he was sick of.
What happened? Your balls drop off?
I don't know, you guys feel free to weigh in on all this in the comments, but I just know for me personally, seeing this, hearing the Jalen Hurts hate is making me even more confident on taking all these lines with Underdog. And right now, as one of the official sponsors of the channel, you can get up to $1,000 in bonus credit when you scan the QR code and use code PHILLYSPECIAL with your first-time deposit. Plus, not only that, but Underdog is running a unique promo for the NBA Finals that you do not want to miss on called the Extender. Of course, I've talked about this one before, but basically, the longer the series goes, the bigger the boost and the payouts are. Heck, just take a look at the projected boost offered, and we're talking about a 100% boost if we reach the pivotal Game 7 in a series. So what are you waiting for? Join Underdog and cash in even more when you use my code. And by the way, when it comes to Jalen Hurts lines, I'm going with over 19.5 touchdowns this season.
They have to pick their poison, and so it's just a matter of going out there and executing. We got to make sure we're in a good position to go do what we're going to do. And then, when someone gets an opportunity to make something happen, make it happen.
He's not wrong. I mean, honestly, it's pick your poison. You take a look at there's so many different picks you could go with and you'd be fine. Like A.J. Brown, over 1125 receiving yards, or I don't blame you. If you want to stick with Saquon, you can end up taking it's an even line. You take 1,500 rushing yards this season. It's an even line for Saquon Barkley, who just ran for over 2,000 yards. So go ahead, whether you're going with Saquon, AJ, Jalen, whoever else, scan the QR code, use code Philly Special, or click the link in the description to get those picks along with a free gimme pick and up to $1,000 in bonus credit. Again, that's code Philly Special with Underdog for one free play and up to $1,000 in bonus credit.
Now I feel like even though I'm 35, I feel like I'm better than when I was 30, 29, 30. I had the surgeries. And so the toughest year for me was the games that I missed in 21. You can clearly see on film, if you go back and watch it, I was very hindered with my left foot. So, and now, I feel like, I'm getting close to, maybe my peak. So as weird as it is to say, but, that's truly how I feel.
Be honest, hearing Pave the Lane say he's peaking at age 35 combined with Saquon Barkley talking about him being in his prime or going to the point of his prime has got to be terrifying for the rest of the league. But like the future Hall of Fame right tackle said, he's healthier than he has been and clearly rejuvenated with the guys in the locker room. Plus, who knows, but it could be some extra motivation from last season when Johnson didn't get selected as a first-team All-Pro over Detroit's Penei Sewell. Remember whenever Lane went as far to post his stats next to Sewell's in the locker room just to make sure everyone realized how wrong the league got it? Yeah, with the 35-year-old ranking better in sacks allowed, quarterback hits allowed, hurries allowed, pressures allowed, pass block win rate, island rate, time to throw, run block win rate, and team rushing yards, and basically every other category you could think of. Of course, you could argue that I'm making a bigger deal out of this than it really is, but let's also remember or not forget the fact that Lane uses this as fuel.
Not making first-team All-Pro last year, you talked about it after the year, but is that a motivator this time of year as you go into the?
Yeah, I think, with anything you read, you try to change. If somebody has a bad opinion of you, hopefully you can get out there on the field and maybe, change their narrative on you. So that's how I look at it. And so, you just have more, do better stuff, be more violent. So I think, something has to come out. And so, for me, that's what it's going to take.
There you go. That's why I say keep it coming. All the hate, all the criticism, all the doubters, everything else, because all it does is make this team even more dangerous. So as idiotic as the rankings here are, thank you to Matthew Cahan for putting A.J. Brown as the 8th best wide receiver in the league.
Stupidest thing I've ever heard.
Yep, just like Kirk Binker putting together a top wide receiver room ranking, but having the Cowboys and Rams ahead of the Eagles. Sorry, it's not like Dallas and Los Angeles don't have talent, especially with the recent additions. But it seems pretty clear to me that the fact that these groups here haven't played a single game together yet, and we're not giving the benefit of the doubt to the reigning Super Bowl champs, it's a little bit disrespectful. Yet I'll be honest, there might not be a bigger glaring difference between the outside noise and the ultimate belief inside the locker room.
And I think we have a lot to do as a defense too.
Oh yeah.
Like to think that was all of our first year in that scheme.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah, that's crazy. Like what are we gonna do next year? Like
I know.
Already I feel like we're miles ahead of where we were last year at this time.
No, we're miles ahead, which is a good thing.
Yeah.
Great thing.
Yeah.
We're having these high level conversations in OTAs. You know, we haven't really been thrown in the fire.
We're not even like planning for who we're like our offense, like who.
So a lot of what ifs.
Yeah.
That could help us.
Which is
future.
good.
Yeah.
That part is legit crazy. I mean, you have the youngest defense, or what was the youngest defense in the NFL last year that was also the best defense in the NFL. And now you got guys like Jalyx Hunt, who proved to be a menace throughout OTAs, taking that next step along with Nolan Smith, Jalen Carter, and the others, and who knows where this thing goes. Granted, I'm with you. Let's not go overboard. Let's not get carried away. But at the same time, we have some injuries, guys battling for some positions, and a little bit of unknowns. But you can't deny that it was at least good to see rookie linebacker Jihaad Campbell out there getting in some drill work. And then hearing former safety C.J. Gardner-Johnson's take on Philly winning another Super Bowl without him was a little bit far-fetched. Yet I will say that the leadership and vocal presence is an area the Eagles are still trying to figure out.
It's different for me because obviously I'm a quiet guy. I don't really say much. I kind of keep to myself naturally, and I'm more of a lead-by-example type guy. But as I'm feeling more comfortable and connecting with the guys in the locker room, I feel way more natural talking to everyone now and
really pushing that more vocal leader now.
Players from your past who you kind of saw in that role that you're kind of mirroring after now?
I mean, I've had so many leaders. There's so many different types of leadership too. There's the quiet, more reserved, but you still really look up to them. There's the Demario Davis that's going to give you the rah-rah speech. I'm still trying to figure out who I want to be and how I want to do this. I'm definitely trying to do it my way.
You're still new at this position. How much better can you get?
I don't know. We have to wait and see.
I mean, do you feel like there's a lot of room till your ceiling?
Oh, for sure. I mean, like you said, that was my first real year playing inside linebacker. You tell me.
Look, the idea of the Bald Eagle going back-to-back with an All-Pro award might sound crazy to some, but honestly, if he can stay healthy, it's completely doable. I mean, playing behind Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis makes life 3 times as easy, and even Baun has admitted that. But more importantly, another year to learn with Fangio and linebackers coach Bobby King could elevate his recognition and IQ, which is already at an insanely high level. Plus, that doesn't even get into the importance of Baun being asked to most likely do even more since Nakobe Dean could miss time at the start of the season. And who's to say for when Campbell gets the green light from Vic Fangio as well? Ultimately, though, even if this defense is top 3 or top 5, Philly is going to be a nightmare to deal with. I mean, I look at it like this. The roster at the moment, especially for the defensive side of the football, who's going to be the safety next to Reed Blankenship? That's a question mark. And then also, what about the second cornerback spot in that battle there? Which, judging by the OTA practices, beat writer Zack Baun has Kelee Ringo as the clear favorite to win the job, thanks to getting the start with the first team in their last session and, more importantly, Ringo's performance. As the 22-year-old had multiple pass breakups going up against wide receivers Danny Gray and Terrace Marshall. With Baun adding what we all see, his physical gifts and traits are blatantly obvious. But if he can pair that with an understanding of the position, then this could very realistically be the best secondary in the NFL. Granted, I recognize that while it was out, there was also this news of the Green Bay Packers releasing cornerback Jaire Alexander. And you know what? If Alexander could stay healthy, it'd be pretty hilarious to run the brotherly shove 1,000,000 times and then lock down the Packers wide receivers with their former cornerback. Like, say what you will, but the last full season Alexander played, he did make the Pro Bowl. Something that Adam Schefter alluded to in his more recent update as to the odds of Philly signing the former Packer. For real, basically, the only way that something like this would work is a 1-year deal at a very small number, and then even then, Schefter's kind of skeptical on it, which personally I am as well, because like we've talked about, the Eagles have a ton riding on Kelee Ringo. His contract, the youth, he's only 22 years old. You got to figure out if he's the guy. They're going to give him a ton of different opportunities. Maybe you make a move later, but I don't feel like Jaire Alexander is a realistic option. And I'd honestly say the same thing and continue saying the same thing about Jalen Ramsey as well. However, the odds there are probably even less likely than Jaire. By the way, while we're talking about potential ads, the least realistic out of all the moves would be a trade for Trey Hendrickson, which, not gonna lie, I'm perfectly fine with because I don't want Jalyx Hunt or Nolan Smith having any snaps stolen and hurting their progression. Like, here's where I'm at. Maybe they make a small addition, as I was talking about a second ago, for a safety or for an edge or maybe a corner. But other than that, I think you got some real players who are gonna surprise people with their ability to get the job done.
Edge rusher?
Yeah.
Uche? Yeah, I remember playing Patriots really quick. I think he's very versatile, what he can do. Ojulari, I played against him and a lot in New York. And then I think Jalyx, I think this is going to be a big year for him. He has all the tools. He's gained some weight, so he's really, I think it's going to be a really breakout year for him. And then, obviously, Nolan, he's still Nolan. He's still setting the tone. So, maybe he can carry a piece of what BG did for, all these years here, but, very similar.
In team meetings, Nick mentions kind of my story, and with all the 1-year deal guys we have now, Nick mentioned my story earlier on in OTAs, and I love it because he uses me as an example to kind of prove yourself, like, and this, especially in this organization, this is an organization that's going to give you a shot, an honest try, and I've talked to Josh Uche especially. He's really inspired and trying to take that same trajectory, that same path. And with that, it's a lot of hard work and just dedication to making it your best year.
Let me ask you, if you had to predict right now, who is this year's Zack Baun on the team? For the record, I'll let you decide on the exact parameters, but let's just remember, at this point last year, we didn't even know if Baun was going to start. Also, I'm not saying that they have to be an all-pro, but just to have a breakout, so I do like Lane Johnson's pick of Jalyx Hunt. Anyway, as for the upcoming schedule for the Birds, they've officially reached summer break, as the team won't have any more organized activity until training camp, which is set to begin on July 22nd, with the first practice on July 23rd. So yeah, we got a long time to wait.
This is going to take forever.
Don't worry, I got you covered with lots of content planned in the meantime, but we also did get the official word in terms of when the Eagles' open practice will be, and that's August 10th. Which FYI, I'm going to be giving away several of those tickets, so just another selling point to be subscribed and turn the notifications on if you want to see them in action ahead of the preseason. All right, glad to be back. Once again, thank you guys. I'm serious about this. Thank you for making this channel what it is. Could not do it, obviously, would not be possible without you guys. You are the best. Good luck on all the giveaways. I'll see you guys on the live stream. Until next time, this has been the Philly Special.